going, guys? My name is Ophanim. So I'm going to be teaching you how to make a Kendrick Lamar jazz sample. I have my BPM set to 80, something on the slower side, but you can do whatever you want, man. The first thing that I added was this piano. What I did here was just a 6 to a 4 chord. So an F sharp 9 chord to a D major 9 chord. If you don't know what 6 to a 4 means, let me explain to you briefly. I was gonna make a theory video, but I'm just gonna give you a bit of theory right now. Those numbers refer to the chord of that scale or that key. For example, look at my keys here, okay? Wow. I'm sure as a producer you know this already, but each song has keys and scales, literally the foundations of music, right? But if you don't know, that's okay. This is what it is. So a scale is just a collection of notes. The most common type of scales are the major scales and the minor scales. But in this case, let's use a simple C major scale. And it sounds like this. Wow, cool. You've definitely heard that before, right? You just follow the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, that type of thing, you know? And if you want an A major scale, you have just follow that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, da. This is something that you can do by ear. Now we know what the notes are in this scale. Let's go back to C. We're gonna give each note a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1. You just go back to 1. And then each of these numbers, we're going to assign a chord to it. How we know what chords to assign these numbers in is we just follow this pattern. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major. I don't think I need to tell you how to make a major or minor chord. I'm sure you're already familiar with how that works. It's just putting them in the scale, following that pattern. For this sample, I used the 6/4 chord progression. What would that be? Okay, let's go back to the C major scale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's an A, right? We know from the pattern that the 6th chord is going to be a minor. There we go. And our 4th chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's an F. We know from the pattern it's going to be a 4 chord. So that's what I mean by 6 into a 4. But this sample is in A major. So let's see, where is A? This note is A, right? We want to make an A major scale. We just follow the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, da thing. Wow, that's our scale. The 6th chord of this scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the 4th note is 1, 2, 3, 4, a D. So we know that's going to be a major note, or a major chord. And now how do we make this jazzy? So again, there's a whole pattern to this. Of course, you can always just break out of these patterns and rules. It's up to you. Music is literally whatever you want it to be. But let's follow these rules for now. The pattern for the jazz extensions is this. 1st chord, major 7. 2nd chord, minor 7. 3rd chord, minor 7. 4th chord, major 7. 5th chord, a dominant 7. 6th chord, minor 7. 7th chord, diminished 7. 1st chord, back to a major 7 chord. That's basically what those numbers mean. I feel like this number chord system, or whatever it's called, it's one of the most important things that you can learn as a music producer. Actually, bro, here's a quick trick. If you're using Ableton and your PC is like lagging like crazy, bro, freeze your tracks, yeah? That's what I'm doing right now while recording, because I don't have like a crazy PC or whatever. But this helps save so much CPU. So the next thing I added was another piano, right? But this time it sounds like this. I played this in a higher octave, a higher register. I followed the 6th chord and the 4th chord. Bro, I just did like some wispy thing, right? Very loose feeling. I wasn't bound to like the tempo. I just played it as loose as I could. Yeah, it just gives this nice, ethereal, spacey type of feel to it. You've probably noticed the first piano part that I laid down, it was rigid. It followed the tempo strictly, while the second piano has a more loose feeling. It sounds like this. It has this nice contrast to it. It already sounds like a full sample, doesn't it? So like, I think this is like a trick that you can use in your own production. Yeah, the actual notes that I'm playing though, honestly, I played them randomly and I just went up. But I made sure to follow the notes of the chords that I was playing in. So 6, and then the 4th. Yeah, just something like that. Something like that. Piano that I'm using is called Ravenscroft 275. Check it out. Currently, I'm gonna be working on a jazz sample pack. Plan to get like 50 jazz samples in and maybe some textures and all that as well. But yeah, let me know what you think of that. So the next instrument that I'm using, it's just this electric piano. It's the Scarby Mark 1 from Contact. And I think it's free. So like, you should definitely check it out. It sounds like this. By adding this electric piano, it gives it that smooth vibe. What I did for this, I just followed the 6th and the 4th chord again. So I played it like mid-register. And I did like an arpeggio type of thing. A quick like strum arpeggio thing. And then, there we go. Just to give it that human feel. I varied the chord each time it came around again. So the 6th chord. The next time the 6th chord comes, I do like a, and then 4th. Yeah, I varied it just to give the sample more depth and just feeling. These are what the 3 keys, the 3 pianos sound like together. Honestly, I could have just ended there, but I wanted to add more. I just wanted to make it sound even more jazzy. The next thing I added was an electric guitar. I just made it sound really simple. Like, you'll hear it. I played like really softly. It was just something for the background, right? I just followed the same chords again. A 6 to a 4, F sharp minor to a D major. I added like a bit of hammer-ons and pull-offs. The next thing I added was this bass. I don't have a bass, right? I literally don't have a bass. So what I did, I just played my electric guitar and I tuned it down like 12 semitones. I got this cabinet speaker from Ableton, right? It's like a stock thing. Set it to this bass thing over there, added some dynamics, and then EQ'd it down, got rid of the high ends, and it kind of sounds alright as a bass. This is what it sounds like. So what am I doing in the bass, right? Because if you don't have a bass, you can still just play it on the keys. If you want to copy the bass line that I did there, you can follow this. We know that it's a 6 to a 4, right? What I did was just this. Just watch my keys. Okay, so what is that? A 1st to a 5th to a 1st again, and then adding a 9th. Okay, what does that mean? Those refer to the intervals of the notes, the chord you're in. Disclaimer, I learned everything online. I never had a music teacher. So what I teach, it might be academically wrong or whatever, but it works. So this is my own way of teaching you like what the numbers mean. So we determine the intervals based on the notes of the scale we're in. We know that we're in A major. So 6th chord, let's use this F sharp minor 9. It uses the 1st, 5th, and the 9th. 1. That would be the 2nd. That would be the 3rd. Oh, okay, cool. The 3rd, we're using that. 4th, 5th. Okay, so that's where I got that from. 6. We don't need a 6 though. That's not a 7. That's a 7. So look, there's our major 7 chord. 7, 8, or 1, 9. Ooh, cool. So 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7, 9. Those are the names of the intervals. So what I'm doing is just 1st, 5th, 1st, 9. I hope that gives you an understanding of like the intervals. So there is like a minor 2nd, major 2nd. Yeah, there's different names for these things, but like for now, try and make it as simple as possible for yourself. And that's basically what I did for the bass line. The last thing I added was the saxophone, right? Bro, this makes everything sound so jazzy. And this is what it sounds like. Doesn't that sound smooth, man? For the saxophone, I'm using the alto sax from V-Horns. I think this is one of the best saxophone plugins ever. You should definitely check that out. I'm using chromatics, right? Chromatics just means like, what is chromatics? Not belong to the diatonic scale of the key in which a passage is. I'm using notes that are not in the scale. So, oh, that C, that's not in the A major scale, right? But the C sharp is. Like, it makes it sound jazzy. And jazz, it's basically all about tension and release. Adding that C, we're adding tension, right? But when we go to the C sharp, it resolves it. Doesn't that sound cool? And I just sprinkled that like around this whole thing. That's what gives it that jazzy feel, just adding those chromatics. The tips on writing this melody for the saxophone, I'd say just follow your music intuition. So when I was playing this, right, when I was creating this melody line, I wasn't thinking like, okay, I'm gonna go to the third and the fifth. No, I wasn't thinking of any of that. I was just going based off of how I feel. Because that's what music is, bro. It's just translated emotion. I just played with my feelings, my intuition, just to see if it sounds right with me as a producer. It is something that you need to cultivate over a period of time. And then that's basically it for the melody. So I added this like city sound. You hear those sirens just there? Just that cityscape sound. I added this rain. Bro, I swear like every jazz sample sounds so much better with rain. What I did to top it off, right? I grouped everything that wasn't the bass. So all the instruments except the bass. And put an EQ on it. I took away some of that low end just to make space for that bass. You don't want the mix to sound muddy. I used to do that a lot before and I was wondering why my music pieces sound trash. It sounds muddy. Yeah, next thing I added, of course bro, is RC20. So this plugin, it gives that really like retro vintage vibe. You can adjust different parameters. Bro, I'm sure as a producer, you already know what RC20 is. I'm sure you can do all of this on Ableton as well. I think it's worth the money if you want to save time. And that's it for the sample. And I hope you learned something from that. Thanks for watching the video. God bless and peace. Bye.